Hello, dear ones. I am Eleonora, and this is the Starseed Awakening Show. This is the place where you come to expand your consciousness, to heal, to remember, and to activate, to align with your soul's purpose. Every Tuesday, I bring a special guest for you, an awakened starseed that's already living the purpose. And the purpose is to bring light, to help you also awaken your own gifts. My guest today is Lee Osborne. It's the second time he's coming to the show. You can watch his first interviews in the description of this video. Lee, welcome to the Starseed Awakening Show.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me back. I'm happy to be here with you today.
And today we will be answering questions of the public. So please don't be shy. If you are online and watching us, ask your question. We will do our best to answer as many questions as possible. Lee, does I have any question for now? I would like you to take get some cards for the collective. What the universe would like to tell us today?
Well, let's see here. What I will use is my kind of my favorite deck here. It's Angel Wisdom Tarot, and it's a Radley Valentine deck, and I really like it.
Nice.
So let's see. Let's just see what's going on here. Hmm. So the card that I pulled right now is the Three of Fire, and fire uh, is the same as the Three of Wand in traditional tarot. Wands are associated with fire. So if we take a look at what's going on here, we have the full moon, and we're 5 days from the full moon. Full moon talks about things being in the fullness of their fruition. So whatever has been coming for you is about to come into the fullness of its fruition. It, and what can that be? Is it romance? Could it be your job? Is it something about money, or something with your children, or something that I'm not even thinking about that has to do with your life, that you've been waiting to come on? Well, it's coming on. And so the other thing we have here is we've got a ship. So the young lady who's on here, her ship is coming in, and the banner here on the ship says opportunity. So here is your opportunity, folks. And this is talking about planning for the long term. So we tend to spend a lot of our time just reacting to how life is happening to us, and not taking enough time to really sit down and go, what's things going to look like for me in 3 months, in 3 weeks, in 3 years downstream, and setting those things in motion too. Because we say, actually, I don't even know where it comes from, but if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So as you know, I mean, you've written books and things like that. You have to set down a timeline for when these things are going to happen. So is that investment in your money? Is that sitting down and doing your journaling so you can write your book? Is that like, okay, well, I need to move. So am I looking for where I'm going to move to? What's my house going to look like? And those sorts of things. Planning for the long term. Am I taking classes? Am I getting wisdom for my next move in whatever it is that I do? But the three of fire also talks about abundance from your past choices.
That's
So things that
beautiful.
you put in motion in the past, again, full moon, things coming into fruition. So abundance coming to you from past choices that you made. And some of them that you may not have even remember now. Something you did 6 months ago or a year ago or so, and all of a sudden, boom, now it's paying off for you. And pride in your past accomplishments. Be proud of what you've accomplished in this life because you've worked long and hard for it. And it's easy, what we tend to do is we tend to look at people who are ahead of us in line or ahead of us on the path and go, oh my, oh. We don't turn around and look back and say, oh, whoa, wait a minute. I've come a long way here, haven't I? I've accomplished a lot of things in this life where we pay attention to the negative thoughts and the negative things that people tell us. Well, you should have done this differently. Well, you're too tall, you're too short, you're too young, you're too old, you have too much hair, you don't have any hair. I mean, and what we discount are the times when people have said, wow, what a great job you're doing. Wow, look at these gifts you have. When you said that thing to me, that changed my life. Because we tend to think, well, wait a minute, that's just ordinary. That's just something that everybody can do. But you know what? They can't because they don't have your particular gifts. So stop listening to the, well, you shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh, wait a minute, there is so much more to learn. And of course there is, but look at how much you've learned. You know, back in the time when you didn't even know what any of this stuff was all about. And look how far you've come. And so that's opened the doors and provided you with the opportunity to take these next step. And again, be patient as you decide what the next steps are. And and part of this patience is that attitude of gratitude of the things that are coming to us. And we're grateful for those things as if we already have them. Why? Because we already have them in spirit world. See, we are limited here on this plane to being only able to move as fast as the speed of light. And we can only move a very, very small fraction of that at this point. But in spirit world, up where our angels and our guides are, moves faster than the speed of light. So when we're up there, when we go home, we can move forward, backwards, inside out, upside down, sideways, up and down through time. So we have already been granted these things that are waiting for us to catch up with our timeline. So pretty powerful, pretty powerful card.
That's so interesting. I asked for the collective, but everything you said, it's a picture of what is going on with me right now.
Well, you're
So, but
part of
the
the
collective doesn't make
yeah.
mistakes. I know that everything that we experience that we think is personal, we are all experience the same thing with different clothes, different actors. So, if you are in a moment in your life exactly like Lee described, exactly like I am right now, what I like to tell you is don't just look at the store. Be centered, be ground, find time to be grateful, and trust. Act as you follow your intuition, act as guided, and wait, be patient. Because sometimes things looks like it needs to get way worse before something really good happen. And I'm in that moment right now. I'm not going too much because it's kind of personal. But I had the same moment two other times in my life, and it's never failed. Some looks like the last minute the miracle happened, and the outcome always been better than I could even expect. So even though it's hard at this moment, I know that it would be amazing.
Yes, there's a couple
You're
of
making me
things,
a little bit emotional. Yes.
don't be afraid to ask for more. The universe is not on a budget.
Oh,
And
no, it's
eh,
not. And I've been asking for more.
yeah, because see,
Trust me.
all it is energy, and as we learn in school, energy is infinite. Can't be created,
Yeah,
can't be destroyed. It's infinite. So more for you isn't less for me.
it's
We're
not.
not cutting up cake at a birthday party here, okay? Um, and you said alert. There are no mistakes. We come down here with our we're going to meet the people we meet. We're going to have the experiences we have. And so here's what I talk about when I talk about change this negative stinking thinking. You know, as somebody described it to me, stinking thinking. So there are no mistakes. There are lessons to be learned and wisdom to be gained. So see, suddenly, see how just that change of word changes this. Oh, it's a lesson for me to learn.
Yes.
And until we learn the lesson or gain all the wisdom out of it, we'll have those same or similar experiences over and over again until we wring all the wisdom out of it. But see, because a mistake intimates that it's my fault. Well, it's not my fault. You know, how can we know something until we experience it and learn it? And so it's not fair for us to look back at ourselves 5 days ago, 5 weeks ago, 5 months ago, when we were 5 years old, and go, "Oh man, how could I have, how could I have done that?" Well, we didn't have the wisdom yet. See, be
Yes.
gentle with yourself.
And another thing is, I realize that sometimes my guides work really hard for things to break, for things to get tough. And the reason why is when everything goes in our comfort zone, there is no reason to move. There is no real reason to promote a shift in our consciousness. Maybe us that were already awakened and searching and alert, yes. But for some people that are living their day to day very busy, Very, very busy. Let me just see what Joe is saying, because I think he can't hear you well. Let me see what he's saying. Oh, the audio live went off. Oh, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Interesting. Let me just see here. He said that he can't hear. And to tell the truth, I'm not really sure if I can. Okay, he said it's okay back.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
I'm gonna invite Joe to come to the live with us. I will send the link to him. See if he can join us. Joe, I think you are listening to us, so I'm just send you the Zoom link on the WhatsApp, and you are welcome to join us if you can. Okay, I just sent the link to him.
Well,
And at the moment that I am right now, I could see so many things that could happen that would be smoothly. And it's a kind of a situation that has deadline and get to that, oh, need to happen something. And then it's like created that pressure. But if didn't have all that commotion around, would not call the attention of everybody that needs to be called the attention. And some of the information that was hidden could not really get show the truth. So everything, the lesson for that is everything is always working out for your highest good. And there is no mistake, and you are allowed to make mistakes because they are not mistakes. They are just choices for you to have a different experience. That's all. And that's okay. Joe, if you have a question for us, you can type on the chat. So since you answer a question that was more like what I'm living at this moment, let me go a little bit more personal. What my guides want to tell me about the situation that I'm living right now that they didn't told yet because they already told a lot before I asked.
well, you were talking about stepping out of your comfort zone, and we have to constantly do that. Even as we become further along the path and grow. Well, I mean, excuse me, my teacher Almeen talked about that once as you start moving up through these levels of enlightenment, we can just get stuck in this place where it's really nice just to hang out there, and oh boy, things are doing great. And it's not to say we can't enjoy those things each level, but we have to be careful that we aren't stunting our own growth, because each step leads to another level of uncomfort. So, for instance, I mentioned that that I use this tarot deck. Well, when I first started doing card readings, I started with a deck that Almeen had channeled, and then I moved on to oracle cards. Why? Because oracle cards were easier for me to read and interpret. And, tarot basically left me pretty cold. But then I met Radley Valentine at a Hay House event, and I just love him. And he was talking about this Angel Wisdom deck, so I started looking into it. So now I'm taking courses on how to read tarot. And I'm a real beginner at it, and I'm outside of my comfort zone. But it's another tool in my toolbox, you know. Um, and so and now I've also begun taking some classes on how to do uh, YouTube videos and to break those things down. And I've hooked up with our local Nevada County media. And so I go up once a month, and these wonderful young people who know all this sort of stuff really helping me out on how to do this stuff, because that's how I can reach out and get get what I have to say out to more people in the world, so that the
Yeah,
ones that are called can hear what I have to say. And I have some little knowledge of how some of this electronic stuff works. But in terms of how to make these things and edit them and put background and all that sort of stuff, I have no clue. So I've had to ask these people for help and trust them to put stuff together, and it's absolutely wonderful. But I'm being pushed, I'm pushing outside of my comfort zone. And this is something that we just have to do because, I mean, after all, if you want to sail around the world, you can't do that with one foot still left on the dock.
no,
I mean,
you're
we
right.
just have to jump out and know that the path is going to appear for us. Now, it's probably not going to go in the direction we want it to, but it'll be the path, and it will get us eventually to where it is that we want to go.
That's true. So that's what my guys would like to tell me more. Or you gonna?
Um, I think let's see. What are your guides? What have we got here for you today? Yeah, basically, and if we just go back to this card,
Yes.
it's patience, grasshopper.
Oh,
Have some patience. Um, but the next card that comes up is the two of water. Water is associated with cups, and so you can look at these. You can look at these suited cards. You can look at them as like beginnings. So it goes, and these are minor arcana, which have to do with the day to day. And it starts with ace and runs up through king. And so it's like, okay, well, here we're starting on this path or the new path. You know, we've decided to take off and we're starting to climb the mountain here with the three, and now we're kind of getting our stuff together here with a two. But look, they are toasting each other, and there's their wonderful little house in the back. And so this can have to do with falling in love or resurgence of a romantic relationship, or deepening or rekindling the fire in a romantic relationship. Because we can get um, we can get tied down in the day to day, take each other for granted, those sorts of things. And so we tend to forget all those things that when we were first together in a relationship, and remembering, to be kind to each other and to say I love you and to do special things every once in a while. But this also talks about not giving up on the people you love, but also about forgiveness and the end of challenges. So, so forgiveness, there's a couple of things with forgiveness, and one of them's easy, and that's forgiving people who have hurt us, who've taken advantage of us, who have used us, who have disrespected us. And this isn't this we're not in a 12-step program, so you're not going and meeting
Mhm.
people and making amends. You just genuinely forgive them. And when you forgive them in your meditation, in your heart, in your prayer, and however, when you're thinking of it, then it goes to spirit and it finds them wherever they are. And by doing that, that moves them from out of our head rent free. Now, we've all heard, right, that you can't pour more water out of an empty glass.
Mhm.
Well, the converse of that is true too. You can't pour more water in a full glass. So by forgiving people and as they come up, you go like,
Make
okay, yeah, yeah,
room.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Then what we're doing is we're clearing out like you're clearing out your chest of drawers of old clothing that doesn't fit you anymore, that's not stylish, it might be worn out. Same with your closet to make room for the new things that we're bringing, that we're making, the new things that we're bringing in. And the other and harder part of this is forgiving ourselves. And we talked about this a little bit earlier in the podcast about it's not fair to look back at yourself 5 weeks ago, 5 months ago when you're in fifth grade and go, "Oh, how could I have done this? You know, how could I have been so stupid in high school?" Spoiler alert, we're all stupid in high school. We're supposed to be. We're supposed to be. So, remembering what we talked about earlier, too, there are no mistakes. There's just lessons to be learned and wisdom to be gained. So, see, we got to be gentle on ourselves, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all get mad, and we all get mad still. And somebody cuts us off, or or doesn't show up, or whatever. It's okay, and it's okay to get a little and then just let that go. Okay. Yay, yay, dude. Hooray for you. You made it to you got to stop at the stoplight 3 seconds before I did. You win. If you're in, hey, I'm happy to hold the door for you because you're obviously in a much bigger hurry than I am. Though, those sorts of things. And we've all said things in the heat of anger and said things that have hurt people's feelings and stuff like that. Okay, that's fine, but that's in the past, so let's not beat ourselves up with it.
So we have some people alive.
Okay.
Don't be shy. Lee is amazing. He will tell you the answer from your higher self, from the universe. But meanwhile, let me ask another question for the collective.
Okay.
I think the ET disclosure is still going on. What the universe wants to tell for the people that are not really open, that they are that scared of whatever they don't know. What the universe wants to tell for these
Well,
people or in general.
you can think of it as anybody that's like a Star Wars fan or anything like that. Think of it as the Galactic Federation. And I forget what the Federation was for Star Trek because I wasn't that big. So you can think of a lot of the ETs as part of part of this, and their job is to look over us and to keep us safe and to keep us from destroying ourselves and destroying the planet. And while they're not going to interfere with a lot of the stuff that we do because we have our experience that we have to experience and decisions we make and see what those consequences those are. But they have prevented thermonuclear warfare here in the United States from the time right after we bombed Japan because it was like, oh my God, they not only developed a nuke, but they used it. So So they have interfered with launch codes and things like that. And they do that quietly in the background. And and the time has come for us here on this planet. We have evolved to the point where ETs can become more readily known, and the disclosures are already starting to happen. And so, um, I mean, a lot of the things that we're using now, some of these devices and a lot of the other scientific things are all from reverse engineering of crashed ET ships. And some of it is just from information that they're putting into our collective consciousness and leading people with ways to go with all of these breakthroughs and things like that. So, and here's a for instance, before we came live online, I was telling you that I had had cataract surgery in my right eye 2 weeks ago, and I'm having it in my left eye tomorrow morning. Well, at the time that I was born, in the middle of the last century, you just gradually went blind. So in my lifetime, we've come a long way. Then we've come from where we're kind of trying to peel that cataract off while leaving the lens in place, to actually replacing the lens with other lenses from cadaver lenses and sewing those in place. To now, they're manufacturing these lenses, all sorts of them. A single focal length. I'm getting the ones for far vision, and I'll still wear my glasses for reading. They have a trifocal lens they can put in, so you really may not have to wear glasses. Oh my goodness. And
Yeah.
and this used to be a fairly extensive surgery, and they do it now in 15 minutes. It takes them literally 15 minutes, maybe 20 at the most, from the time they wheel you in and start this to where they've got the old lens out and they got the new one in place. And they give you a little thing here. Now, where do we think all these technologies come from? You know, these are being fed to us from our ET friends. I went in and I did this wonderful stuff. And they had 4 different machines that did all the measurements in my eyes, so they knew exactly what size lenses and things like that to put in. Wow, wow. There you have in your hand here, if you own one of these, probably 10 or 100 times more computing power than they used to send the first people to the moon. Where did all this come from? It's all seeded to us by our ET friends. And you know what? If you believe in it, fine. If you don't believe in them, that's okay. They believe in us
Yeah.
because they can see us, you know. Um, and there were people trying to tell us this stuff. I remember um, going to seminars when I was in college, and that was well over half a century ago, where folks were talking about the ET things in Area 51 and the crashes at Roswell, New Mexico, and all those sorts of things, and um, but it wasn't time. We weren't evolved enough. And so it's starting to come out, and more is going to come out in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I mean, this is going to be old hat for people like my granddaughter or her children. My granddaughter's children, my great grandchildren, are going to grow up with ETs, just like my granddaughter grew up with these cell phones and things like that. So, so it's, but don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. They pretty much chased the grays away and all the ones that were doing the probes and things like that. Um, and they're here to help us grow and evolve and uh, become a much more peaceful society in which everyone gets the things that they need. The food, the clothing, the shelter, because again, as we about earlier in the podcast, it's just energy and it's infinite.
Yes. And speaking about ETs, the name of the show is Star Seeds Awakening Show. What it means to be a star seed? Means that your soul doesn't come from Earth. The first time that you decided to leave Source to have a physical experience, you went to another planet, maybe in another galaxy, in another dimension, and after the bombs, the nuclear bombs explode, 1946, 45, Earth was in a jeopardy of not having enough light to cross the photon belt. That's only compatible with a vibration of 500 and up, that's love. The vibration was so down that Earth needed help to raise the vibration. And beings from all over the universe, the multiverse, decided to incarnate on Earth to raise the vibration. I even know 3 people that are incarnation of God itself. I know at least 4 that are incarnations of Archangel Michael. It's just Archangel Michael, straight up. They can do that, and they did. They did. So, and many came from spaceships or other planets, the Pleiades, Arcturians, Andromedas. And they came here to help. In order for this body works with that soul that's vibrate higher than the human soul, the DNA needs to be enhanced. And throughout the life, some adjustments has been made. I am a starseed. I truly believe that Lee is also, and I already got information, confirmation that they have been took me to their ship since I was a baby to adjust my DNA to make sure I was okay. And now I got to a point that I'm aware of them and I'm in contact with them. I'm already in contact with more than 10 just aspects of myself from other dimensions. And those T's that will start to show up to people so everybody to see, they are gonna have a physical, a human representative here on Earth. So it's like you'll be afraid of your fellow human being. And of course, all it is are good. I have to ask you back. All humans are good. There is polarity everywhere. Well, at least up to the 5th dimension, there is polarity. Much, much less in the 5th dimension. But the ETs that are in service to self, most of them are the 4th dimension, and they have a great advantage over us. The mass media wants to look like. The reason why they make things worse than it is because they want you to believe in the worst case scenarios because that's how you feed the matrix. What the universe has to tell us about finance? What's about to happen to us? Because there will be a time when the truth will come, the vibration of the planet is rising, and with the vibration rising is scarcity and fear. Things that feed the fear will slowly going away. And the financial fear is a big, big one. Is there any shift on the financial system to happen any soon?
The financial system is going to undergo a great transformation. So let's remember what we were talking about this too back at the beginning of the podcast about how the only thing that money is energy. It just represents energy. Can't be created, can't be destroyed. It's infinite. And infinite means that there is no end to the supply. So all that when you have a dollar bill or $100 bill, that represents a unit of energy. And so when we do our healings and our readings and our stuff like that, we get an energy exchange. I'm putting forth the energy to do the reading as you do. And the exchange for that now is in the form of what we call money. But see, and see, here's a real radical thought for you. There is no such thing as the national debt. How can there be a national debt if that energy is infinite? Now why is this? Well, you touched on it in your question. The media and the folks that are in power want to keep us in fear. They want to keep us controlled. And this is how they do it is through the medium of like money. Now, way back at the when we started to see what we now talk about civilization that came out of the Fertile Crescent in the Middle East, we're seeing cities and things like that. The wages that were paid to workers were food. It was oil and grain and things like that. It wasn't in the form of money, it was in the form of food. So now we get money that we exchange for food. Okay. So we've just agreed on a method of exchange, but here's the thing. We are sitting here in the United States of America, right smacky dab in the middle of the richest country that has ever existed on the face of this planet, period, beginning and end of that story. Some of the richest kings of antiquity would be seen as paupers. They would be truly amazed at what ordinary people here have, you know? And we throw away or waste 35 to 40% of the food that we produce in this country. So why is it that people are going hungry and are going without clothing and going without shelter? It's not that we can't provide those, it's that we don't want to. Or the people that are in power don't want to, because this is how they keep their power. But here's the thing about energy is it can only be contained so long. So if you think of it as you're pumping up a bicycle tire or your car tire. Well, if you just keep putting air and putting air and putting air and putting air, pretty soon it's going to explode on you, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's like putting too much pressure on a liquid or a fluid or something like that. You're going to blow a hose out. Why? Because there's too much pressure on there. So there are too few people who have too much money in energy tied up. And they're not using their abundance, i.e., money, in the way that it's meant to be. It's meant to be a flow in order to help those that haven't got the abundance that they have, to help them to bring them so that they have food, they have clothing, they have meaningful work and things like that. Now there are those that do. There are some of these really rich retired athletes, and even athletes that are playing now, that are helping out their communities. They have foundations. They're paying for education. They're doing all these sorts of things. So this is what they're doing is they're seeing that the money is flowing. You have the Bill and Melinda Gates foundations, okay, but then you have others that are not. You know. Now, am I anti-billionaire? I am absolutely not. I don't care if you spend your money sending rocket ships into space. But first, everybody else has to be taken care of. See, again, it's infinite. Every folks are like, well, tax the rich out of existence. Why? Because and don't look at it that way, because now you're coming from a mindset of fear and that there is a limit on the abundance you can have, and there is no limit on the amount of abundance that you can have. Make more billionaires as long as they're going to spread the wealth around. See? And
Yes.
so what we as we have more and more of our folks that start raising our vibration up into this kind of fifth density thing. Now, here's another spoiler alert. We aren't going to just disappear from sight and leave everybody else behind. No, we're still here on this earth, but there are people that are not going to or who don't want to raise or are afraid or whatever, and they're going to muck around. They're going to muck around and sludge around until they get the message, or don't, whatever. But see, we're going to really change how abundance is spread, how money is spread, how a living is earned. It's one of the things that Shaheen talks about is that how valuable is it that what we have to give. And that's for those of you, if you found this podcast and you're listening to it either live today or downstream somewhere and you're viewing it on tape, that's because you're called here to get this message, you know, and
Yeah.
start changing your thinking around. And so, and this is the value in the cards and things like this. We're talking about what's happening right now today and for the collective. And you know what? If you come across this six months from now, it's not this. It's not that this reading is for like it's only for June 23rd, 2026. Well, no, it isn't. It's for
No.
you whenever you find it.
Yes.
It's for you whenever you find it. And so, are there some people that are going to suffer some serious bumps in the road in the financial thing? Yes, there are, because of their stinking thinking, because of their coming from fear, because of their like, I have to have, uh, you know, I got to hang on to this. Um, but most of the rest of us are going to be okay. There's been little financial bumps in the roads and things like that, but most of us are going to be okay.
Yes.
And why is that? That's because we are spreading the wealth. We're spreading the wealth through our readings, through our cards, through our books, through all that sort of stuff. And when the money comes in, it goes out to your favorite charity, to if there's a jar at the checkout line for animals, or a fundraiser for somebody's baby, or something, or whatever it is. You drop a few coins in. It doesn't have to be much. It just some, just some. One of the stores, one of the supermarkets I go to has a thing. And it used to just be in the holidays, and now it's a year-round thing, food for families. And so when you're at the checkout line, you can contribute $1 to $10 or whatever. And when I go through, I always contribute a few dollars. Why? Because I can afford to. I need to, and people need to eat. So you just do these things as they come up and as you're moved to, you know, and so those of us who are using our abundance, and it seems like, that the people who have the less, or seem to have the less, are the ones that are the more giving. And people who
Yes.
tend to have a lot of resources want to hold on to those resources and not share them. But wait a minute, the more I have, the more I have to give. And it all
Yes.
comes back. and it all comes back
Exactly. And
around.
more you give, more you get.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And here's how fast, how fast does this work? And I got a real lesson in this when I was a young deputy sheriff, and had no idea that I was going to be on this spiritual path. And this was all foo-foo, woo-woo stuff that hippie stuff, and who believes in this? But
Hmm.
there was a young woman who said she was trying to get back from Truckee to the Bay Area. And she had a Volkswagen and she wanted $1 to put some gas in her car. Well, and in those days, gas was 60 or 70 cents a gallon or so. It was really, we thought it was expensive, but not compared to today. And I said, well, we have a program where you sign up and oh no, I don't want that. I don't want any social services, just, if you have $1. And I had $2 in my pocket. And that was all the money I had. It was a couple of days till payday. I think I had $4 or $5 in my checking account just to keep it open. So I gave her those $2. I said, you need two because, I know how far it is to the Bay Area and I know blah, blah, blah. And the following Monday, or following week, yeah, it was probably Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on my days off. But the following week, when I went back to work, here's a card, thank you card, no return address, no name, with a $5 bill stapled to it.
Hmm.
So just within a matter of a couple of days,
That's
my
came
two
back really
dollars,
fast.
my $2 turned into $5 just that fast. It was just like, whoa, you know. And I look back on it, I was like, okay, well, what happened? I don't know what just happened. But now I look back on that and I can see the times when I have, I've given people money. And sometimes it comes back and sometimes it doesn't, but that's okay.
I have a story. I was working in Los Angeles, downtown, and I was taking the train, and I was on the train station, and I saw a man that looks like he wasn't exactly a homeless, but it looks like someone that was lost from the family, something like that. He didn't have money. And when I see someone that I think is in need, I always try to help. So I started talking to him and said, oh, I asked where he was going. I said, I'm going to San Diego, but I don't have the money. So I gave him $5. But and then I realized I look at the check-in and I said, oh, that doesn't pay. So I had a $20 bill. So as I think you need more than $5. So I gave it to him and then I walk away. The next day at the same train station that I was coming back home, it was evening. The next day it was morning. I was walking on the train station. I look at the floor. There was a $20 bill on the floor. I pick it up and I look all around. There was no one close to me. So what do I do with those $20? I think this is for me.
Well,
So
yes,
I thought that was very interesting because sounds like a boomerang. It gave the next
yeah.
day, the day before, and it came back to me.
Well,
That was interesting.
and I've had these discussions with people too, and I can hear some folks that are going to be watching this going, "Wow, well, you could just give something, and they're just going to buy booze, or they're going to buy drugs with it." Well, but maybe they're going to buy food for their dog or their cat. But here's the thing, and here's the thing that I've come to realize and tell people, it's like if I give somebody a gift, then once I give them that gift, whether that's money or whatever else it is, that's
What do they
theirs.
do?
That's not mine anymore. That's theirs. So do I want to control their life? No, I'm not going to give you money, but I'll buy you a sandwich. Well, wait a minute. Maybe they want to feed their dog and they want to feed their dog food, not a sandwich. It's it's
Yeah.
it's once I give them the gift, then what they do with it is up to them. That's their decision, not mine, not mine, you know?
Yes, this is the old story when people tell a sad story asking for money. If I got touch in my heart to do, I would do it as, oh, but you got
Oh,
fooled.
yeah,
No, no one is fooling me. I'm just following my heart.
yeah,
If
yeah.
they are lying, shame on them, not on me.
Well, yes,
But
absolutely.
I will do
Absolutely.
what I feel like doing
Yes.
and without regret.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's in the action of the giving and of being kind. And it's not that you have to give money to everybody that asks or go, do those sorts of things. It's that you do that when you feel the need,
yes.
you know,
Let's
and that's the
just,
thing because it, the universe spirit's not up there going, okay, 1, 2, 3. That's only three for you, and you passed up five. They're not what they're looking at is
no,
are you sharing your abundance with somebody that doesn't maybe have as much or finds themselves in a real pickle, where they need more than they have, and you can help them out.
yes.
And every little bit, a few coins, even if it's just $1 or a couple of quarters or whatever, that all helps because it all adds up. See, it's
Yes. Let's change subject a little bit. We are about an hour. Is that okay if we stay a little longer?
yeah, I'm yours for as long as you would like
Okay.
me.
Let's switch it to health. But before I go there, I will explain to people that doesn't understand what means Earth, 5D Earth, or New Age. I know everybody heard about New Age. Many people have misunderstanding about what that means. So I've been explaining about that for a while. Those are two crystals. It's happened this way. This is our Earth. It's a heart. Pretends it's a circle. And this is our moon. Goes around in 28 days. Our moon rotates around our Earth. Now, this is the sun. This is our Earth. That's rotate around the sun. Takes 365 days and some hours. But now I ask you, which astro our sun rotate to, are pulled by, is a white star called Alcyone. That's the central sun of the Pleiades, and it takes 26,000 years rotating around the sun. And this rotation is described on the Mayans calendar. The year 2012 was not about the end of the world, it was about the sun completing that cycle. But because our calendar was messed up, we don't really are sure how many years they delay. We are not sure if the real 22,000 would happen in 2024, that I say it wasn't, or it will be 2028. It will be 2028. So that's how much it happened. So, okay, our sun is rotating around the sun with our moon and so on, all the planets from our solar system. And who Alcyone is pulled by the central sun of the galaxy. And here has the three stars of the Sirius. They don't rotate around Alcyone, Alcyone rotate around them. But somehow they are magnetically pulled to each other. So they rotate around the central sun together. And it's take 245,000 light years, something like that. It's a long time. I don't know how to count that. I don't know who counted that either, but it's a long time. And from the central sun of the galaxy, there is many photon belts that shoot out into the galaxy. And one of them pass the Sirius stars and give a complete loop around Alcyone and goes away. Because as everything is in movement. And all the astros, all the stars that orbit Alcyone cross this belt twice with the speed that our sun and our earth rotates. For us on earth, it takes 2,000 years each time. So those 26,000 years, you have here in the beginning 2,000 years, in the middle you have 2,000 years. In between each light year, that's called the golden age, you have the dark age, being the darkest right on the middle. The Hindu split those 26,000 years in 5 periods. The Kali Yuga is the one that's the darkest, and it's getting closer to the light, coming in and out, so it's get lighter or get darker. And we already step into the new photon belt to complete that cycle. We are almost completely inside that photon belt. And that's why things are going crazy, because this photon belt is a high vibrational light that's compatible with love and higher. The map of consciousness say that love is 500, fear is 100, shame is 20, and is the minimum that you can sustain and keep your body alive. Guilt is 30. And many of humanity are kept here under the 200, that is courage. We need to rise up to get close to those 500. And it's so easy to say, oh, but I'm here in fear. Oh my goodness, my world is falling apart. How on earth I could ever get to 500? That's what's the most beautiful thing I learned. We are made of God's image. That doesn't mean that we are made of the image of that old man on the clouds with a head, 2 arms, and 2 legs. God doesn't have a body. He can create one, but he doesn't need one. God is light, love. So when it says that we are created as God's image, that's mean we are created from love, to love, for love. So you are here vibrating in 100. You can only vibrate in 100 when you forget that you are love. In order to remember, there is some things that you automatically rise up to 100, to 500. Just stop thinking, I can't. Well, there is some tricks. When you go into meditation, oh, I can meditate. Okay, let's keep it simple. Pay attention to your breathing. Breathe in, hold for 4 or 5 seconds, breathe out. Do that 3 times, you're vibrating 500, because that's what you are. You stop thinking, you stop feeding that emotion that's lower than 500, you're automatically there. When you are appreciating, you're back in 500. When you are doing something that you're passionate about, cooking, dancing, painting, singing, anything that you're passionate about, you're straight in 500. So there is many easy ways to get to 500. But of course, life is constantly pulling us back. The social media, if you want to stay longer in 500, turn off your TV. Because you cannot be giving attention to something that's broadcast on the TV, that's fear, and try to feel love. It's easier that you turn off the TV and go listen to the birds. So that's what the golden age is about. When we are completely immersed into this photon belt, everything around us will be vibrating in love. Because everything else that could not vibrate in love cannot cross this belt. There is another version of Earth that will be split. There will be an energetic split that will go outside the photon belt. I'm gonna create a video explain this in more detail, so stay tuned. But I would like to switch the subject now to health. The system that we have in place right now, I heard someone telling there was the sickness health. You get sick and then you fix the symptoms. But to fix the symptoms, you create more symptoms and then it's go. This system is not in alignment with love, so it will fall. It needs to fall. It needs to change. I'd like you to pull some cards for that. What the universe wants to tell us about the health system and what we need to be looking at in for our own sake or the sake of our family.
So, what I'm getting, hmm, so I have the moon, which is a major arcana, um, and is associated with Archangel Haniel. And again, you see the full moon here, and so it's what does this talk about? Listening to your intuition and pay attention to signs from the divine. Um, let go of your fears. Oh, gee, what were we talking about? Fear. Let go of your fears. Mark Twain once said, "Hey, I've had many troubles in my life, most of which never happened." We spend
Yeah,
an awful lot of time worrying about the horrible thing that's going to happen
they don't.
when it isn't. Now, that's not to say that you're just going to put the cruise control on your car and fall asleep, on I-5 at 100 miles an hour because you're going to wake up back in the spirit world. It's going to be ugly. All right.
Yeah.
You assess the risks and do that sort of stuff, and then don't worry about what might happen. I mean, there's certain portions of town that you don't go to. There's places you don't go in the middle of the night. You don't come out here even though it's hot now and jump into the Yuba River because it's just melted snow, you know. So those are things that you don't do. So it's good to be aware of those things and know that, we just don't stick our um we don't stick our hand on the hot stove. But we also don't not drive our car to the grocery store because there might be a traffic collision. Well, people drive thousands and thousands and thousands of miles every year without ever getting into a traffic collision, you know.
Yeah.
Um, the fire is a very real danger here in our portion of the country here in the West, but it doesn't happen every day. It doesn't even happen every year. So let go of your fears. And don't unnecessarily worry, especially about the things that you have no control over, you know? Because the thing about it is that if you're constantly worrying about this and you're constantly living in fear, what you're doing is you're telling the universe this is what you want more of. Because every thought that you have goes up and resonates. As it, well, if you're like, oh, well, I'll never have any money, and well, your guys are going, well, I guess you don't want any money. Oh, well, I'm going to be sick. I've always been sick. Oh, well, I guess I want to be sick. You know, um, so but the thing about the health system is it's driven by greed and it's driven by fear. And you're right, it treats symptoms, it doesn't treat diseases. The difference, but in Eastern medicine, in Chinese medicine, and Japanese and all, they want to treat the disease. See, they want to look at the hot and the cold, the yin and the yang. What is the underlying cause? And let's heal that so that you don't have to keep taking medicine all the time. See, we don't want to give up. We don't want to give up eating our pint of chocolate ice cream every day or our greasy hamburgers and are sitting on our buns and not getting any exercise and doing stuff like that and eating processed foods instead of healthy foods. And it's like because it's well, hey, fresh fruits and vegetables, especially at the farmers market, are more expensive than just buying some frozen thing that's loaded with sodium and preservatives. We want a magic pill to mask the symptoms, but that doesn't mean that we aren't sick. And
Yes.
so this to me is part of the big change that's going to come when we have our change um, in our perception of things and our change in our wisdom is like, oh, wait a minute, we made a serious mistake with our unhealth care system. And once again, we're cutting people off of healthcare. Well, just die, just die. Or wait until you're so sick or so injured that you have to go to the emergency room, which costs all of us money. See, if you're paying insurance, you're paying for those folks that don't have insurance, whether you want to or not, and you're not getting what you pay for here, see?
Yes.
And so, and so the interesting thing is, see, they went to this HMO and this program of healthcare that we have now, and the big changes happened in the late 70s and early 80s. And we were really, really debating whether to have universal health care like they do in like civilized countries in Europe and all. And even in Canada, which is located just to the north of us. And the thing about it was like, well, do you want some government bureaucrat making your health decisions for you? And look at Medicare. Well, Medicare runs pretty efficiently, even given its limitations. So we have to privatize this, and up until the time that those changes were made, healthcare had to be nonprofit. Now that doesn't mean that people weren't paid, but you couldn't have investors. You know, the only difference between a nonprofit corporation and General Motors is General Motors can sell stock and a nonprofit cannot. Okay, and all the things that were told to Congress, you're not going to be able to pick your doctor. It's going to be expensive. Bureaucrats are going to make it, and not doctors are going to be making decisions for you. You're not going to be able to get you're going to have to wait in line for needed care. All of that stuff, if the government took over, guess what we are living with now under the private healthcare thing? Every bit of that, every bit of that. We're going to see um, some bureaucrat at a insurance company makes the decision whether you get the care you need or not. I mean, obviously, they take care of you if you run into the emergency room with a broken bone or you're bleeding or something like that. But but um, I am currently having made 75 trips around the sun in an age group where folks are taking a look at the cost benefit of treating me for certain diseases.
Yeah, do
You
that.
know, am I going to get, is somebody going to decide, how much longer is this
Really.
old guy going to live? And do we want to really put a lot of money into, replacing parts and pieces and stuff like that when he's really not going to live very long? Now, is that a doctor making that decision? No, that's somebody back in some insurance company. And what's their eye on? Is their eye on keeping me healthy? No, their eye on is on the bottom line for the shareholder. And so this is one of the other things that has got to change and will come to a change. It will change.
Which will. And I
Really
think
honest.
won't take long.
I don't, I don't think that it will because we're seeing more practitioners such as yourself who are energy healers, who are the organized and medicine is starting to see and really started to see even 30 years ago when I was taking massage classes, the benefit of these quote unquote alternate methods of treatment.
And that's what I awareness is the key for everything.
Yeah.
That's why I decided to create this podcast and now specifically this show every Tuesday to bring awareness to people. And the first thing start with you create your reality minute by minute, second by second, with your thoughts and emotions. But in between your thoughts and your emotions, there is your perception. And your perception is not owned by you. That's the real problem. Your perception is owned by the programming that you have been exposed since you were a baby. From your family, your parents, your teachers, society, government, and all the systems that doesn't really care about you, that was designed specifically to control you, to control your perception. And then they still convince you that you are free. But what's gonna happen when you stop? And then they really succeed and keep us very, very busy, not to pay attention, because we are very, very smart. You're very smart. The only thing you need to do is stop to realize that something is not going right. And then when you stop, that was the great benefit of the 2020. I know it was horrible for many people, but for many people, for the first time in their life, they were able to stop and look around. Am I happy with what I'm creating? So if you are not, you need to change the source, and the source is your thoughts. We will be training to think about what we see and decide with emotion associated to it based on what we believe to be true. And all our reality is created based on beliefs that most of those beliefs are false. And believe what it is. Believe is something that is proof it's reality. That's really true. Many of them wasn't true. It was just something that someone think at the same time and was able to convince people enough to think about the same thing and became true. But if you are feeling bad about something and then you think you decided to investigate, oh, I'm feeling bad because I'm thinking about this and this come to a belief. Oh, but my grandparents believe in that. My parents believe in that. Everybody believe in that. And I see that happen, so it is true. Doesn't matter. Is that working for you? For you to believe on that is in your own benefit? No, if the answer is no, you have all the power to stop believing. You don't have to believe. Belief is just a thought that you keep thinking about. It will take time, but you just need to do one thing. Write an opposite belief, an opposite sentence for that belief, and repeat time enough until you're to be conscious of it, right? Or just pay attention to other things. Sometimes those beliefs are associated with trauma, and those traumas are in your body. So sometimes for that, you need to do energetic work. Sometimes just a reading with Lee will already solve the problem, because all the diseases are of the mind. You shift your perception, you change your belief, there is no need for the side effects. But some, you need some cleansing, you need an energetic cleansing. And that's when people like me that do energetic healing and others, there is many others, and many modalities, we come in handy. I will show my website, and right after, I will show Lee's website. And on my website, let me show, I'm not showing yet, sorry for that. I'm in transition, I'm changing platform, so it's supposed to be in three languages, English, Portuguese, and Spanish. And here I have a community. That community is basically, you go to, I have some pre-recorded rake sessions that you have access for the ones that are free. You just go there, you don't even need to log in. But if you want to access the full session, all the sessions that I have available is about 45 minutes long. And then you go ahead and sign up. Is only $22 a month. Every week I have a workshop. And during this live, for people that donate to this show, I give 5 tickets away. I didn't get any donation today, but I always have a coupon code of it's Star City 44, and you're gonna pay only $44 instead of 55. And now I would like to show Lee's website, that his profile in Soul Search, and I'm sure there is here a way for you to contact Lee and his services. How can you contact his services, and which I think that you have also some reviews. If not, I think I'm gonna write you a review, because I have been using your services for many time, and it's interesting that some people think I'm also a channel, and you may think, oh, but if you're a channel, why you need a card reader? Why you need to go to a site if you can channel the answers? But that's how it happened. We are awakened, but we are not enlightened yet. All of us, we still have our own blockages. We're still learning here. So I have a friend that she's a psychic. I was talking to her face to face, and I wanted the idea. Ask her to get a message from Archangel Michael. And I was already automatic writing message from Archangel Michael. And that's interesting. Why I didn't get the message for me to do myself, right? Because I could do it. But anyway, the guidance was to ask her. And the message that came through was, don't push too much yourself. Be gentle. Rest more. Find time for joy. But at that moment, I was trying to figure out how to work more, do things faster, and get everything done. So there would be no way that Archangel Michael would be able to sneak that message into my mind.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So some information for me that come from Lee is information that sometimes I won't be able to get myself because somehow I'm blocking. Is something is another perspective. And the difference of people, there are many good people out there that do card reading, but all the people that I'm bringing here, they are people that are already doing their own work, their own spiritual work, to release their traumas, to rise their vibration. A good psychic reader or a healer, if it's still completely immersed in fear, in hate, doesn't matter how good it can be. Doesn't matter how many trains it has, how many cars, how many hours, this and that, it doesn't matter. Because you cannot access an information that's high vibrational, that's vibrating more than 500 if you're locked here in 100 that's fear, or 150 that's hate. And I guarantee you that the information that comes from Lee is a very high vibrational information. And you'll notice that most of the time he doesn't even need to get the cards because he can download right away. I don't use cards, it's just a channel. And he doesn't even need the cards, but sometimes it's fun to show the cards. Lee, it has been a pleasure. I just want to say one more thing about we exchanging services. There was two times that sometimes I get inspired to offer some for people to exchange service, and I was being inspired to offer to change service with a friend, but she was a healer. And she was always so happy, so like vibrant, and I hold back for like a 6 months, for even 8 months to offer. When I offered, I found out she had cancer.
Wow.
You see, when you get, of course, I don't blame myself because if it was for me to have done, I think I would had offer anyway. But it came for me as a lesson that don't judge, because who is judging when you get a guidance? Who is judging? It's not your higher self. It's the ego. It's the
Yes.
ego. I judged that she didn't need me, and she could. I still was able to help her, and I did much, but there was a program. She ended up dying, but I'm glad that I still was able to help her to get more clarity, finish her lessons faster, or ease the pain. But it could have started like a way earlier. But I was holding back because I was letting my ego win. You don't need it.
Yeah.
I know a psychic. He is like, I think he is the most psychic person that I know. He has all the clairvoyance thing. And I got the message. Ask him if he wants a healing from you. So after my friend, as I will look foolish by asking, but I will ask. And so I'm being guided to ask if you would like, if you feel you would like some healing from me, I'm open to do it. But
You
and
know,
then it's his choice. So what his answer is, he said, "No, I'm okay." So I did my part.
just yeah, send me some Reiki tomorrow.
I
Send
will.
me some Reiki for my, for my cataract surgery tomorrow. That'll be that'll be great.
I will do it tonight, and I schedule for tomorrow. That's the beautiful thing about Reiki. And I will send for the whole week for you to stay with the energy, and so you can heal faster.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been
Yeah.
my pleasure. Thank you so much for
The
having me
pleasure
back.
is mine. Thank you so much for accept. And if you wants to have an amazing reading, Lee is the person to contact. And of course, I know other psychic readers, but we are all unique. We are really all unique. And we, each one of us, we carry our own energy signature. And some people will be drawn more for a specific person because the energy is more in alignment with the place they are at the moment. If you feel inspired to have a reading with Lee, I totally recommend.
Thank you.
Lee, would you like to say a message to people that are watching?
Well, thank you for tuning in here and listening. Those of you who are listening live today, and those of you who find this podcast. As I said, I think probably about the middle of the podcast, if you found this podcast, it's because you were drawn to it and drawn to the message that Eleanor and I both have for you today. And so even though this is being recorded on the 23rd of June, it's what the messages are there for you whenever you find this. See, the time is an artificial construct for us here today. So don't worry about, if you find it 2 days, 2 months, 2 years from now. It's you found it because it's time for you to get the message. And if you need a reading or a wonderful Reiki healing thing, get a session with Eleonora. Please do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very
And
much.
Lee, I'm being guided to channel for you. Is that okay? But before
Yes,
I ask you, I can channel any consciousness out of space, time, and dimension. The first one that came to mind was your higher self, but and then they are asking, can I just invite whoever wants to come? Would you be okay with that?
yes, please. Yes.
Okay. I invite any being of love and light that have a message for Lee today, that you best assist him at this moment and moving to his next best step. Who is here with us? Dear love, I am Cherry. I'm so proud of you. You see, all those years that we lived together, it was a kind of initiation for you, preparing your energy for this moment. We taught me so much, we shared so much, and we really peeled many layers of the onion. When I left, you were ready. You were ready to shine. You didn't understood why I had to leave. That was our contract. But we never really apart because our contract is for me to be in the other side, helping holding your energy, managing all the vibrations around you. Whoever are ready to come and use your services. But I'm not alone in this side of the veil. We are a group of light beings that are assisting your mission here of alleviate the suffering of so many. When they come to you, they don't get only information. They carry your energetic signature that stay with them for the rest of their lives. And bit by bit, that energy helps shift their consciousness. Every single one that are drawn to you is always an assignment, is never by chance. We are so proud of you for choosing the path that was decided by your heart. Even if in the beginning you would be scared of judgment. How a policeman become a psychic? We are so proud that you don't care about this at all. And your bravery of sharing your wisdom is speak from your heart with truth, authority, but also kindness. You are in the right place, in the right time, and you are doing wonderfully. We love you, Sherry.
Thank you. Ooh. Mm,
Oh, so much love.
mm.
Sorry for putting you in the spot.
No, that's
And
no,
it's kind of personal.
no, that's fine. Thank you very much. I mean, we were together a short few years, but changed my life.
I can
So
see your aura right now. The last year, I think my psychic ability is just like going up, and I can see the aura of people through the camera now. I can see yours. Yours is very bright, and that's mean she's drawing your energy, and it's brighter than it was when we started. But you are always high vibrational.
thank you.
So you that is watching, you probably say, what's going on here? That's the first time I see things like that. Well, be ready. Every Tuesday, I invite you to come here and not only think outside the box, I want you to jump out of this box. Jump out of the box.
Yeah.
There's so much freedom and love here. Thank you,
Thank you.
Lee. I
Thank you.
love you.
Thank you.
Share for if you think can use some of this wisdom, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and come back to the Lee. That was oops. Okay.